Welcome to Quit to Win, the show where we explore the moments people had to let go of destructive pattern, limiting identity, and the internal battle in order to rebuild their life with purpose and clarity. Today's guest is Reichert, executive coach, mindset trainer, speaker, and best-selling author, a retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel. Ryan's bring over 2 decades of military leadership experience, followed by successful transition into the corporate world. But his stories gone far beyond title and achievement. Also, recovery advocates who overcame school addiction, addiction, and his journey through personal breakthrough, rebuilding, and faith-driven transformation gave him a deeply human perspective on resilience. His work today focusing on helping people break free from limiting belief, rediscover purpose, and step into lasting transformation through mindsets, accountability, and faith. It's really a pleasure and honor having you on the show.
Thanks man, so much. Great. So great to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ryan. So, Ryan, when you reflect on your journey, what is the first thing you have to quit in order to begin rebuilding?
Yeah, I mean, today it's really interesting. Kind of in the intro, they're talking about limiting beliefs. And basically, anything I'm going to generalize here just for everybody out there listening or watching that anything you come across that you say, because of this, I can't do that, is a limiting belief, no matter what it is under the sun. And so to me, I really struggled with a lot of caring more what other people thought of me, how I came across, what I said, what I did, than just knowing that I've been given all these gifts and talents. And so utilize them to the fullest of my ability. And whatever, comes out of my mouth, as long as it's kind and gentle and loving, it's going to be good. And so I think for where I sit today, I actually laugh about that because I just came from church where I was teaching seventh grade boys Proverbs, and that was just the lesson was literally, to fear God, not man, and therefore, don't be limited to what's going on in here or what you believe others are thinking about you, saying about you, and really just put in 100% effort of what you're doing, and everything will work out just fine.
Yeah, amazing. Put 100% into the work you're doing, and everything is going to justify. So you have described yourself. You have described being built to break. What did breaking look like in your own life?
Yeah, I mean it continues day in and day out, living, one day at a time. Is anything that we go through isn't meant to truly break you, it's actually meant to build you. So when I think back to, surgeries or the prescription drug abuse and addiction to other surgeries on the opposite leg or injuries, divorce, my alcohol addiction, my estrangement from my children, losing a Fortune 500 job in itself. It goes on and on and on. Debt, rebuilding, building a business and watching certain levers of it fall apart or crumble, kind of, that don't work out, that you invest all your life savings into and see it not come to fruition, or having to put it on the shelf for a year. And, are you going to come back to it? Are you going to rebuild it? Or do you go a different approach? Anything and everything in our lives that happens to us is literally meant to build us, not to break us, to make us stronger. It's one of those, you want to go into politics or you want to become the superintendent of the school. If you're just a school teacher and going into administration, like there's going to be things that are going to try to break us, right? Hard times, struggle. And it's really there just to build you up because you're not going to break. You're going to learn through it. And what I always love to say is it's either a lesson or a blessing. So just get on board with whichever one it is.
Yeah,
If it's a lesson, turn it into wisdom, write that stuff down. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing today. Thinking just a little bit ago, talking about highs and lows with some guys in a group I was at. And, pretty much every single one of us is like, you don't have lows when you look at everything as a lesson or a blessing. So
mm,
you don't, there's no need to get down on yourself and go like, that's a low. It's going to bring me down. It's just ride those little waves, don't make it catastrophic,
yeah,
massive peaks and massive valleys. Nice and easy, steady the course, and it'll literally, everything that's breaking you is actually building you into something greater than you already are.
Amazing. Everything that's breaking you is making you in a kind of way. You might not get to understand it now. Yeah, amazing. So what identity or version of yourself was the hardest to let go during your recovery journey?
No, and I think at times I still maybe struggle with this is just the life that you build. It's the earthly life. It's the life that has a lot of material things in it. It has a lot of bright, shiny objects. You're trying to control every single outcome. And I think just being able to fully surrender your life and give up control, right? To completely take your hands off the wheel and go, like say, Jesus take the wheel. Like he's got it. He's always had it.
Yeah,
Because when I'm trying to steer that bus, I'm driving it in the ditch, like I'm running it into a building, I'm backing it into a bunch of cars. And if I would just surrender fully, I can really embrace the life that I'm supposed to have, not the one that I'm creating in my mind that's picture perfect, big house, shiny cars, all the things that we see on TV. That to me was crippling because I was trying to carry it all myself and not realizing that all I had to do was ask for help and just surrender, just to let it go. And today, I still struggle at times with it. I mean, I'll want to push really hard in the business to get it to be somewhere that I think it should be versus kind of the training wheels still need to be on things. And, I'm not ready to handle the big hill at the end of town. And so that in itself is what I've really, through my recovery journey, just completely surrendering is that I don't, I get a vote if I want to, but it's not going to work out in such a way. It's not built on a solid foundation, I guess is probably the best way to put it. If I'm building the house, I'm putting the windows up before there's any framing, kind of thing. It's just you got to work on that foundation. That foundation is really giving up control and truly surrendering your life to, your higher power. Mine, it just happens to be God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. It could be the universe for somebody. It could be whatever it is, but it can't be you. It doesn't work that way. If it's you, it won't last forever.
yeah, amazing. Yeah, if it is just you, it won't last forever. Yeah, amazing. So what do most people underestimate about what they need to quit before real transformation happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really goes to the wounds that we have, kind of that generational trauma or curses. That 6-year-old little boy or little girl that has some type of wound, whatever it looks like. For me, it was a lot of abandonment when I was younger. My father, it's amazing today. He's got 41 years of sobriety. We have a really good relationship. I mean, it's taken a long time to finally be brutally honest with each other and be able to actually tell each other the honest truth, the brutal honest truth every time we talk. And we've both hurt each other over the years with different things that we've done to each other, from verbal. If I turned into a great liar over my time and space as a kid, and then as I'd say, young man, but I was a boy still. I was a boy until I was 45 years old. I could finally tell the
Mm,
truth no matter what happens. And in that is the case, right? Like when you're done finally running from everything, you can finally stand firm and know that even if you've done wrong, you have to accept that and, claim responsibility for it. And then from there, your life can truly take shape. It can take the form that it's always supposed to. And that can be really, really hard to do. I still, at times, like, it's like, golly, it's so much easier to not tell the truth in this moment and not have to take accountability for this. But you know that you did something wrong, well, you have to apologize, you have to say, like I say, the 6 steps to transform our lives. And it's saying please and thank you. It's saying excuse me. And it's I'm sorry before we repeat it over and over and over again. And those 2 words, I'm sorry, that's something that sometimes can take some of us a long time to say.
yeah, amazing. Smiling. Thank you. I'm sorry. A whole lot to really learn from that. So you have said that sick and tired of being sick and tired. What was happening in that particular season of your life?
Yeah, I mean, that was towards the tail end of my 33-year career in the alcohol business, people would say, boy, you got it all. What's the problem? I had it all. I had a beautiful family, 25-year relationship with my former spouse, big house, the fancy cars, pool, the boat, trips, and, more money than I'd ever had before in my life. And, that saying is money can't buy happiness, but it can buy everything else. And that's what I was trying to do. I
Yeah,
was buying everything else and I wasn't happy. And so I couldn't take it anymore. I was so exhausted mentally, emotionally, spiritually, completely bankrupt all the way around. The coolest thing was that that's where I found Jesus Christ. I'd been wandering the desert for 44 years, and he was just sitting at that bus stop out there in the middle of
oh,
nowhere. And he's like, I don't really love this part of Ryan's story, but I love this part of Ryan's story because this is where we finally get to work. Yeah, ever since the 26th of November 2023, every single day, we've been putting in the work together, and it's been beautiful. It's been a lot of work every single day, learning how to live a different way. Like I said earlier, with not being able to steer the bus, the boat, the ship, the whatever vehicle we're on. I don't get to touch it. Don't get to be at the helm, but I do get to go on one heck of a ride, and it's been an amazing journey over the last almost 2.5 years.
oh, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm glad for the later part of it. You get into find Jesus and a whole lot of things coming into place. Yeah, amazing. So how did your military background um influence the way you approach personal recovery?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where, a lot of people ask just that, like how did you go 23 years in the army without having, the catastrophic decline that you did just a few years ago? And I think it was one, truly the purpose that we were serving together in a brother and sisterhood. Two, we had an unbelievable routine. I mean, it's what I coach today. Today I coach three personal wins, excuse me, your three daily wins, which is physical, mental, spiritual. And that's what we did every single morning. You'd get up, you'd work out, you'd have amazing conversations with everybody that you'd serve downrange with, and that you're willing to die with and for. And I think that to me, when that was let go once I retired, you didn't have the discipline, or I didn't have the discipline anyways anymore because I didn't have the purpose. Well, the
Mm,
service and sacrifice wasn't the same to go build a widget or whatever that, we were doing in my post-military career. And don't get me wrong, there's, it's all right. It's just when you've been doing something completely different for so long and then pivot, I wasn't ready for it. And so when I reflect truly on that today, that's how I live now, knowing that I have a second chance at life. I have the opportunity to carry all those years of service and leadership that I learned from great mentors and others, to share that and make sure that others get a second chance at life just like I did.
yeah, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So when you were in that valley, what helped you? What believe change? What helped you believe change was still possible in that particular moment?
Yeah, I mean, I still every single day live it. I'm grateful
Yeah.
every morning when I wake up. I'm just eternally grateful knowing that I get another day. But more so,
Mm,
it's clearing the mechanism at night and just being grateful for whatever day I did just have, and that did I give it everything that I could. I love Tim Tebow always says you should want to not race through the day kind of thing, but like know that we're we have one day less kind of thing. And as you reflect upon it, like what did you do that was meaningful, of service, and truly living in your purpose? The whole sole reason why you're here is it, and it's not for me, it's for others, it's helping others, it's being of service. And all of us are of service. It's just realizing that wherever we're sitting, Like currently, you have this amazing platform. And without your platform, I'm not here talking about any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's you serving currently. And then from whoever else is out there, if you go out to dinner, someone's serving you, obviously, as a server. There's cooks that are serving you. It goes on and on and on everywhere we go. And that's where, that kindness rings through everything we do, and realizing it's like, would you want to be the server, serving everybody in this restaurant? Would you want to be the cook? Because those are the gifts that they were given. And so they're serving you. And it to me today, I have such just a profound respect for everyone everywhere I go. I've taken up different times of like working, where you're driving services for others, and just knowing one, how grateful I am for everything that I have in my life, and then how can I
Mm.
be able to help others, because maybe someone as they get older can't carry their groceries, like, like making sure you're able to help them do
Yeah.
that, or whatever it looks like. But we all can just take such an active role in being of service to others, and really grateful that they're doing what they are doing, and then us being grateful to have the ability to provide or pay them, for their service that they are providing. So it's
Yeah.
something today I can really see day in, day out. And that's probably the biggest thing that's changed for me, is to have that perspective. Like, I like to tell people, I completely understand where you're coming from, but do you have the ability to move one step to your right and look at the, situation? Do you have the ability to move one step to your left and look at the situation? And you tell me if you see it the same now, once you've moved just a little bit to the right or just a little bit
Mm.
to the left. And it goes back to, I'm just all about, you know, sharing kindness with everybody as we go, because if we could just smile more, I mean, it's one of those things that the world is just such a better place if we do.
Yeah, so true. Amazing. Oh, this is really amazing. So, what have you learned about pride, vulnerability, and asking for help during the course of your journey?
It's the number one thing we need to give up is our pride and our ego. Once we lay that down, what we need to pick up is that ability to truly give to others. I mean, that is
Mm.
it. It's that simple, because I struggled so much to ask for help. I had just the hardest time, and that's why I tell everybody now. I said two things. So for whoever's out there listening, whoever's out there watching, if you're listening to us right now, to Ben and I, it's that simple. You're not feeling great right now. I want you to get up and walk. Just go for a walk, create movement, create action. Once that happens, it gets everything in your body flowing and going and so forth. And once you have that movement going, I want you to get your phone out, and I want you to call whoever you have. Everyone has somebody, and I want you to ask for help, because it could be as simple as, "Hey, tomorrow, I could ride and get a ride somewhere," or whatever. I mean, I have no idea what it is for you specifically, whomever I'm talking to, but I know it basically every day to I ask people for help, because I know I cannot do it all myself. One, I pray to God that He remove some of my difficulties that I have because of my ability to hold stuff in and not ask for help, and then that creates resentment, and that's a me problem. That's not a them problem.
Yeah.
And it's that pride and ego, and ego. Somebody told me the other day it stands for edging God out. So it's one
Ooh.
where if we're pushing our ego all over the place, that means that we're not letting God in, and that's the cool thing about it, because He can take all our pain away. He can take all our suffering away, and it's okay to suffer, because we're gonna learn so much more through that than we are. I don't remember the wins kind of thing. That's why I have to have the 3 daily wins right away in the morning, because
Yeah.
if I don't get that thing started, next thing you know, that pride, that ego's creeping in, and I'm starting to get in my own head, and it's just not a good place to live.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. This has really been amazing. So now, what does winning means to you? Compared to before your recovery journey.
Yeah. So, yeah, before it was all about finances, how much money was in the bank.
Yeah.
Did I have a job that was paying me, multiple six figures? Could I give my family all the shiny objects that they could ever dream of? And what it looks like now, you guys can't hear it, but my youngest daughter, who didn't talk to me for about a year and a half, I can hear her making dinner right now, clanging the plate with probably some silverware. And she lives with me from time to time now. That's what winning looks like. Because
Ooh.
there's nothing more powerful than when your kids come back to you and they tell you they love you and that they missed you. And I believe that's how it is for God every time we come back to Him. And I get that now. And so that's my purpose today. That's what I fight for today. That's why I stay sober today.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. It's really lovely in the fact that, yeah, at the end of the day, you're able to have it all together. You're able to get your family back. Yes, really, really lovely because what is the answer of having every material things and at the end of the day, when it comes to family, you didn't get it right. It's more painful than, yeah, this is really, really amazing. I'm glad that God was able to kind of help you through and you able to get it right. This is really, really amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. So for someone listening now who feel stuck in addiction, burnout, or emotional exhaustion, what is the first thing you need them to quit today?
Yeah, you got to quit telling yourself it's because of somebody else or it's because of
Mm,
something, people, places, and things. It's not. It's you. Like you just got to look in the mirror and go, what do I really want? And that's what you got to do. You got to start pouring back into yourself. You have to realize that one day you might be all alone. Maybe you're already there. And now what do you do? And it goes back to what I said. It's just get up and start walking. If it's just around the block or, you live in a building, just up and down the hall a couple times and then reaching out for help, asking somebody, you know, can you just come over and sit with me? Can we have a meaningful conversation together? Can I come over to you? I just need a hug. Whatever you believe you need, that's what you need. And so ask for it. Like people are there to give that to you. I think that's the big one that I learned today is now when, you know, this brain bucket of mine, for those that are listening, you can't see me pointing at my forehead, but you have something go through your head. If it's like, man, I want to talk to Ben. Okay, I got Ben's number. Why am I not
yeah.
giving him a phone call? And it's like, well, they're probably busy or they have kids or they're
Yeah.
doing this. Well, yeah, I get that. If they are busy, they're not going to answer the phone or like, okay, text them. But I still believe like phone calls are 99.9% more effective than a text message because text messages, you can't read the emotion in it. You can't read the feelings in it. You can't feel the person's pain that they're going through, but you can hear it in their voice if you're really struggling and that bad. And that's where you got to move. You got to ask for help. And don't worry because everybody, like, it feels so good to help people. I mean, that's the thing. Acts of service, acts of kindness. Boy, I'm telling you, I can run through brick walls. Like after I help somebody out, like I'm like, send me
Yeah.
back to Afghanistan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, wherever. Put me in the game, coach. So that at the end of the day is who we are. And you know who you are. If you're a healer out there or you're a protector, like go out there again and serve like you used to serve. That's what you want. That's what you're missing and just do it and share that love that you got inside of you because we all have it. Just because it got dark, just because it got cold for a little while, doesn't mean that it's still not in there. Because with light, there can't be darkness. So there just needs to be a little bit of light, and the whole room is brighter than it can be. So don't let that darkness in.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much. Especially when you just make reference of, yeah, don't put the blame on any persons or anything. Being that when you put the blame on people and on things, they take the responsibility from you and point it to the direction of those you put the blame on. Yeah, this is really, really amazing. And the fact that, yeah, call the damn call and reach out and yeah, and it's really, really amazing. And thank you so much for sharing. Sorry, and from our audience who would love to reach out and reach out to you, either for coaching sections or to ask some proposal? How can they reach out to you, and where's the best platform?
Yeah, the best place to go is ourprotectordevelopment.com. That's our business's homepage, landing page, website. And if you want to check us out on social media, it's Ryan T. Reichert or Army RT 1978 on every single, I think, social media out there. Definitely probably have a greater following on Facebook, LinkedIn, and maybe Instagram, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It just
Yeah,
track me down and reach out. Let's have a meaningful conversation and, get to know each other because it's all about connecting the dots, and having that amazing conversation that we're all looking for.
yeah. Thank you so much, Ariane. Your story just shows that sometimes the most powerful win begin when someone finally decide they are done with that, done with what is destroying them, and ready to rebuild. Yeah, this has really been amazing. It's a pleasure having you on this show.
Well, thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Yeah.